What if I told you? That strange feeling of not belonging. That bizarre dream you had last night. They're not random. What if, just what if, they're actually you? A different you. From another time. Another version of yourself. Trying to reach out. Sounds crazy, right? But sometimes, the things that sound insane are exactly what we need to finally understand what's really going on in our lives. And here's the wild part. The more you ignore these signs, the louder they get. That too perfect to be coincidence moment. That sudden déjà vu in the middle of the day. That gut feeling that turns out to be spot on. These aren't just quirks of the mind. They're whispers from your higher self. Echoes from your divine spark, working silently in the background. You ever wonder why so many people feel stuck in life, even when they're doing all the right things? It's because we've been taught to search outside for answers. While the real instructions, they're already coming through, just not in the way we expect. Not through phone notifications, but as a pull in your chest. A message delivered in a dream. A line in a book that jumps off the page. A random conversation with a stranger that hits deep. Your future self is trying to reach you. And no, this isn't sci-fi. This is consciousness expanding. This is real-world spirituality. Neville Goddard, with a touch of quantum physics. Ignore the signs, and you might just keep spinning in circles. Or worse, repeat the same painful cycle in an entirely new lifetime. But here's the thing. If you're here right now, watching this, it's not an accident. You're being guided. And in this video, you'll learn exactly how to recognize these signs. Why they're happening more often. And what you can actually do with all of it. Because one thing's for sure. Ignoring them is no longer an option. There's something deeply intriguing about déjà vu, isn't there? That eerie sensation that you've already lived this exact moment. Like the universe hit replay without asking. But maybe, it's not just coincidence. Maybe it's a crack in the veil of reality. Some say it's your higher self whispering, nudging you toward your spiritual path. Others believe it's an echo from parallel lives, or a flicker of memory from your divine spark. The fascinating part? The more your consciousness expands, the more frequent these moments become. Coincidence? Neville Goddard would tell you there's no such thing. Everything is conscious creation. Now, what about synchronicities? Those are like secret messages encoded into your reality. You think about someone, and they call you. You keep seeing the same number over and over again. You feel like the universe is speaking to you in some kind of spiritual Morse code. What's really happening? It's energetic alignment. Your frequency is syncing up with something far greater than you. And no, it's not just esoteric talk. Even quantum physics acknowledges that observation affects reality. Which gives serious weight to the idea that our experiences are shaped by our attention. That's the heart of expanding consciousness. Learning to recognize patterns that once seemed invisible. Now imagine the universe works like a smart algorithm. Kind of like TikTok or YouTube. It shows you more of what you engage with. So the more you pay attention to the signs, the more signs you start to see. I remember a season in my life when I saw 11:11 every single day. On clocks. On receipts. On license plates. That was the beginning of my spiritual awakening. Everything changed after that. It led me to study Neville Goddard. And that's when I realized. Those weren't just cute coincidences. They were direct responses to a shift happening inside me. Once you understand that mechanism, even prosperity, even abundance, becomes part of the synchronicity. You ever meet someone for the first time and feel like you've known them forever? That feeling, that energetic recognition, isn't something science can fully explain. But spiritually, it's your divine spark recognizing another soul it's danced with before. Maybe in a past life. Or a parallel version of now. And it's in moments like these that we realize how connected we are to realms far beyond the physical. The spiritual journey is made of these seemingly small encounters. Moments that feel ordinary, but hold a quiet power that changes everything. One of the biggest mistakes people make on the spiritual path? They ignore the signs. And why? Because we were raised to trust only what can be measured, calculated, proven. But spiritual growth? It asks for a different kind of intelligence. Sensitivity. When you let your intuition lead, you stop seeing déjà vu and synchronicities as weird stuff, and start recognizing them as confirmations. Here's the real secret. Aligning with your higher self doesn't take physical effort. It takes presence. And it starts with small questions, like, what is this trying to show me? How can I respond to this sign with awareness? If you want to bring this into your daily life, here's something simple, but powerful. Start a synchronicity journal. For 1 week, write down everything that feels like just a coincidence. The date. What happened? How you felt in that moment. Then connect the dots with whatever's been going on in your life at the time. You'll be amazed. The signs almost always point to your deepest desires. Whether it's healing, expansion, or abundance. This is your higher self speaking. You just have to be present enough to understand the language. But what if the signs aren't just warnings? What if they're invitations? Invitations to explore deeper levels of your consciousness. Maybe even while you sleep. Because when your physical eyes close, other doors open. And the next chapter of your spiritual evolution may already be waiting there. Sometimes dreams reveal more about your reality than anything you see while awake. People say dreams are just the brain unloading. But what if it's the opposite? What if dreams are the real reality? And waking life is the simulation? When you walk the spiritual path, dreams begin to change. They stop being random. They start to feel like messages. Whispers from your higher self. Clues from your divine spark. Gently nudging you back into alignment. And the deeper you go spiritually, the more vivid and symbolic those dreams become. Nothing in them is by accident. Ever notice how some dreams stay with you for days? Like they planted a truth inside you. One you can't quite explain. But feel down to your core? That's because dreams speak the language of the unconscious. And within the unconscious lies the source code of your spiritual evolution. Many people dream of spirit guides. Of parallel versions of themselves. Of realities where they live lighter, freer, more abundant lives. And they wake up feeling like they touched something real. It's not an exaggeration to say. Sometimes, a dream is the very first contact with your future self. The one who already knows the way. Now, lucid dreams? That's a whole different level. It's like activating God mode inside your mind. It's when you know you're dreaming. And you choose what happens next. You can fly. Visit places. Talk to someone who's passed on. Change a scene at will. But here's the deeper truth. This isn't just a nighttime adventure. It's spiritual training. Let's say someone wants to manifest prosperity. Inside a lucid dream, they can live that abundance. Feel it. Experience it in the energetic field. Neville Goddard would call this assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And when you wake up, it changes your vibration for real. If you want to develop this skill, the practice actually starts while you're awake. Try this. Do reality checks during the day. Ask, am I dreaming? Keep a dream journal by your bed. Set clear intentions before sleep, like, Tonight, I'll have a lucid dream and remember it. Simple, right? But spiritual discipline is like that, quiet and consistent. And don't be surprised if you start dreaming of light beings. Astral travel. Symbolic messages. It's not fantasy. It's your consciousness stretching beyond the edges of this world. Sleep is the classroom of the soul. And only those ready to learn get invited to the front row. Dreaming is a conversation with the invisible. And that conversation happens in layers. Some nights, dreams are chaotic. And that's okay. Other times, they're vivid, crystal clear. As if you were living inside them. You might dream of places you've never seen, but instantly recognize. Languages you've never studied, but somehow understand. That, my friend, is a sign that your consciousness is traveling to other dimensions, to parallel realities. And guess what? Even quantum physics now admits the possibility of multiple universes. Spirituality? It's been saying that for millennia. It's your divine spark. Exploring what it's truly capable of. And if you're thinking, I never remember my dreams. Here's a little secret. Everyone dreams. Not everyone remembers. It's not a flaw. It's training. Try this. Leave a notebook and pen next to your bed. The moment you wake up, jot down anything. A color, a feeling, a single word. Even a fragment. Over time, your mind gets the message. Hey, dreams matter. And it starts cooperating. This is part of your spiritual evolution. It's you saying, I'm ready to hear what my soul has to say. And your higher self? It loves that kind of invitation. Now what about when your dreams start predicting real life? When you see something while sleeping, and then it happens? No, you're not losing it. That's just your intuition tuning in. And here's the twist. It doesn't only happen while you're asleep. That same whisper, that same subtle knowing, can hit you in the middle of the day. And when it does, everything changes. Sometimes, you just know. There's no logic. No proof. No data to back it up. Just a feeling. A quiet certainty in your chest. Like something deep inside is knocking. That's intuition. And while the world may have taught you to ignore it, those walking the spiritual path learn fast. That soft inner voice is the language of your higher self. The rational mind shouts. But intuition? It whispers. And still, it's usually right. That's what expanding consciousness allows you to do. To tune into that frequency with more clarity. And the real secret? It's not just about hearing that voice. It's about trusting it. Many people begin their spiritual awakening right after making an intuitive decision and watching everything fall perfectly into place. It's like something invisible is pulling you toward a more aligned version of your life. Ever felt the urge to leave a safe job? To follow something that felt more true? On paper, it makes no sense. But deep down, your soul is saying, go. And those who listen, they usually bloom. Neville Goddard spoke of this. Faith in the unseen always comes before the visible shows up. Prosperity, abundance, love. It all starts with an internal shift. With a whisper. With intuition. When you begin trusting that inner compass, your behaviors naturally shift. You start saying no to what no longer fits. And yes to what once felt too risky. Intuition becomes your energetic filter. It shows you what's aligned with your soul's expansion. And when that happens, life flows. The right people show up. Opportunities reveal themselves. Obstacles dissolve. It's like walking with a silent GPS that already knows every shortcut your soul needs. Of course, there are days when your intuition goes quiet. And that's okay. It's like the sun on a cloudy day. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. In those moments, the best thing you can do is slow down. Breathe. Walk in nature. Write out what you're feeling. These simple acts help you reconnect with your higher self. One powerful practice: automatic writing. Just grab a pen and paper. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And write, without thinking. Let the words come. Sometimes, the answers you're searching for are just waiting behind the noise of the mind. Spirituality doesn't disappear. It just goes quiet. Until you're ready to listen again. And don't forget, your body speaks, too. Sometimes it's a knot in your stomach. A sudden chill. A racing heart when something feels off. And other times, it's a deep peace out of nowhere. A wave of calm. Even in the middle of chaos, your body is a messenger of the divine spark. And consciousness expansion teaches you this truth. It's not just about hearing your mind. It's about listening to your body. And your heart. If something drains you, shuts you down, pulls you away from your truth, that's a no. If it lights you up, energizes you, brings you closer to your soul, that's a yes. As simple as that. And the most beautiful part? When you begin living by intuition, reality responds. The synchronicities grow louder. The signs become clearer. Even time itself seems to bend in your favor. It's as if the universe leans in and whispers. Finally, you're learning how to play. But this phase? It requires courage. Because following your intuition may lead you away from familiar things. Old versions of yourself. People who no longer resonate. And yet what comes next is always bigger, brighter, more aligned with who you're becoming. And it's right there, in that in-between feeling, when you start to feel different, a little out of place, that a whole new level of consciousness begins to emerge. It's strange, hard to explain, like you no longer belong where you are. But hear this. That's not a problem. It's a signal. A calling. Ever feel like life is a stage, but you're stuck in the wrong play? You look around. You say the lines. You go through the motions. But something's missing. It's like you're living a borrowed life. Disconnected from what your soul really came here to do. And as uncomfortable as that may be, it's one of the clearest signs that your spirit is waking up. Your higher self is gently pressing the buttons for change. That feeling of not fitting in? It's not weakness. It's your soul saying, it's time to remember who you are. Your divine spark is stirring. It's no coincidence that this feeling shows up during the most pivotal moments of spiritual transformation. It might happen after a loss, a big change, or on a random morning when you just wake up and think, what am I doing here? Neville Goddard might call it a soul identity crisis. When the old life no longer fits, but the new one hasn't fully revealed itself yet. It's a breaking point, but also a birthing point. You're not falling apart. You're being reshaped. True abundance, real prosperity, doesn't bloom in the chaos of confusion. It begins with clarity of purpose. And that clarity often starts with a feeling that you don't belong. So many people spend years ignoring that call. Pretending they're fine. Forcing themselves to fit into spaces that are way too small for their soul. Until discomfort turns into pain. But those who listen to the quiet ache. The ones who have the courage to stop and ask. Is this really where I'm meant to be? They discover the truth. That feeling of not belonging isn't a curse. It's a compass. It's the beginning of becoming. Want something practical? Start by reevaluating what you do on autopilot. Your job. Your friendships. The places you go. If none of it feeds your essence, maybe it's time to shift. Not all at once, but little by little. That out-of-place feeling is also common among people who've begun accessing parallel realities. In dreams, in meditation, or even in those intense flow states where time disappears. They get a glimpse of who they could be. And suddenly, their present reality feels small. But here's the secret. That in-between feeling you're experiencing? It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming. And to cross that space, you need faith. Faith in yourself. Faith in the path. Faith in the quiet wisdom of your higher self. Discomfort is often the first step toward freedom. People who feel out of place often carry a heightened sensitivity to energy. Crowded spaces. Shallow conversations. Heavy environments. They feel more. And no, that's not being dramatic. It's not too much. It's elevated perception. When your spirit is evolving, you start noticing the distortions around you. What's fake, what's forced, what's draining. And sometimes, you pull away. Not because you're broken, but because you're recalibrating. The secret? Create nourishing environments. Feed your soul the way you'd feed your body. Read books that expand you, like The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. Listen to music that stirs something in your spirit. Create daily rituals that reconnect you to your divine spark. It changes everything. Feeling out of place might just be the universe giving you a gentle push. Not just to change where you are, but how you stand in life. Sometimes, you're pulled out of an environment because your presence there has already served its purpose. People who once felt aligned start to drift away. Old dreams lose their shine. And something deeper awakens inside you. A hunger for truth. Freedom. Authenticity. That, too, is abundance. Because living in alignment with your essence is the purest form of prosperity there is. And then, somewhere in the middle of all that confusion, something shifts. You start to realize, maybe it's not you who's out of place. Maybe the place just isn't ready for who you're becoming. And when that truth lands, a new kind of search begins. A deeper one. More intentional. More aligned. It's the beginning of a sacred homecoming to the real you. Now imagine this. There's a version of you already living the life you've been dreaming of. Healthy. Abundant. Peaceful. Purpose-driven. That's not sci-fi. That's spirituality and quantum physics. Walking hand in hand. Your higher self already knows the way. That parallel version of you already exists. Vibrating on a higher frequency. The question is, how do you align with it? It's not about creating something from scratch. It's about tuning into what's already real. On another level of consciousness. And it all starts with awareness. Step 1, clarity. You need to know exactly what that higher version of you thinks, feels, chooses, believes. This goes way beyond vague goals. It's about identity. Try this. Write a letter as if you were that future self. Describe your day. What do you believe? Who are you surrounded by? What does peace feel like in your body? This isn't just an exercise. It's a frequency shift. It activates your divine spark and changes your energetic field. Because spirituality isn't just about contemplation. It's about practice. Neville Goddard said it best. You only manifest what you feel to be real. Step 2. Energetic consistency. You can't meditate one day and complain about your life the next. Alignment takes discipline of the soul. Want to connect with your most abundant self? Then stop vibrating in lack. Start giving thanks. Even for the things that haven't arrived yet. Listen to music that lifts your frequency. Feed your mind with expansion. Avoid conversations that dim your light. Because your reality responds more to your vibration than to your words. Step 3. Embody it. Act as if. Not by pretending, but by becoming. If your highest self eats well, why are you skipping breakfast? If she trusts her choices, why are you second-guessing every move? Start small. Swap "I can't" for "I'm learning." Replace "one day I'll get there" with "I'm already on my way." These small shifts, they bridge the gap between desire and reality. This is the spiritual path in motion. One aligned step at a time. And here's something most people resist. To align with your higher self, you'll have to let go of your old self. And yes, sometimes that hurts. You'll be asked to release habits that drain you. Friendships that no longer resonate. Beliefs you inherited before you even had a choice. But think about it. If your house is full of clutter, how can the new ever move in? Prosperity and abundance don't enter where stagnation lives. So make room. Cleanse your energy. Donate what you don't use. Write goodbye letters to old versions of yourself. Forgive those who hurt you, including you. This alone can transform your entire vibration. And don't try to do it all alone. You don't have to. Join meditation groups. Read soul-shifting books. Work with mentors or therapists who support your expansion. One book that might surprise you? Awaken the Giant Within, by Tony Robbins. He may not call it spirituality, but his message is rooted in energy, belief, and conscious creation. And remember, you don't have to choose between the spiritual and the material. Your higher self wants both. Deep connection with the divine. And a life that feels good right here, right now. And as you begin to align, something almost magical happens. Your choices become clearer. Your days, lighter. Your dreams, more vivid. You start recognizing the signs. The synchronicities. The inner guidance. And suddenly, it all connects. The déjà vus. The lucid dreams. The sense of being out of place. The whispers of intuition. They were never random. They were always pointing toward one thing. A reunion. A coming home. A reconnection with who you truly are. And with a force that's been guiding you quietly all along. So now I ask you, how many of those signs have you ignored? Writing them off as just your imagination? How many moments have you felt something bigger trying to guide you, but you let it slip away because it seemed too strange? Here's the truth. Your higher self doesn't shout. It whispers. And if you're here right now, reading or listening to this, it means something inside you already knows. There's more. You're already on the spiritual path. You're already on the journey of consciousness expansion. All that's left is to start acting like you remember. Will you keep ignoring the signs? Or will you begin to respond? Will you stay stuck on autopilot? Or will you finally align with your most prosperous, most vibrant, most connected self? You don't have to change everything at once. But you do have to start. Daily meditation, conscious reading, elevating conversations, choices that bring you closer to your truth. All of it is within your reach. And here's what I want to hear from you. Which of these signs have you already noticed in your life? Which one impacted you the most? Drop a comment below. I want to hear your story. And if this message helped you see life through new eyes, subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications. Share this with someone who needs to remember that they were never alone. Because sometimes, all it takes is one voice, one video, one moment to awaken the soul. Thank you for being here. Thank you for choosing to listen. And thank you for starting to remember who you truly are.